All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's see what we got going on. Already have Ingest, Elliot Beaven in the chat. Love to see it. Early risers. Appreciate you guys. As you know, I'm Michael. That's AJ. And we're coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia for the Atlanta United Fan TV post-match live show. So, what do we have to talk about tonight, AJ? You are muted still.
Totally unmuted. Yes. Yes. Well, we have some exciting news. We have announced a great collaboration with 5 Takes on the 5 Stripes. They have joined the Atlanta United Fan TV network, and we are ecstatic to bring them on, and lots of really dope stuff on the horizon with them. But you can check it out on our Spotify network, and so you can check out the pod from them tomorrow. It drops there and your favorite podcatchers. So that's the first bit. And yes, if you are new around here, definitely subscribe and smash that like button. But
we're on a road to 10,000 subscribers, everybody.
Exactly. So let's help us out for sure. We really appreciate every single one of you guys. It really keeps us going. And as well, our Patreon. We revamped a lot of things and tiers, and lots of exciting things are coming along with it. And we have a playoff stream coming soon that will be very awesome. And yeah, that's the main bit here. Speaking
of, let's just throw up our starting lineup. Mm-hmm. As always, we'll have our starting lineup come on every stream and show our most amazing patrons. And we have Ariel, Drew, and Gavin still up on the top 3 spots. So if you would like to see your name featured on this starting lineup, please open your hearts, open your, I don't want to say pocketbooks. I feel like this is like one of those like the give to the donation for like the the children in Africa type thing. It's not the vibe I'm going for at all.
Not close at all. But anyway, yes. But definitely, get involved on a grassroots level with us. We're excited to see you there. So definitely get at us. It's in the description below. But speaking of playoffs, so we're in the playoffs. It seemed like there was a little bit of lethargy, maybe with not only the legs. It seemed like our starting wingers, the unchanged 11 seemed promising from the start, but those legs seemed a little weary, a little heavy. They didn't seem as creative. They didn't seem as sprightly.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit of a struggle this week. Like both matches, we were the worst team. Still, and it's one of those things where, we talked about Philly, but Philly, the margins were tight. Obviously, that handball is still on a lot of our minds, but the match today, Columbus Crew, they're good.
They are.
Like we said this like maybe a month ago when I was lamenting who we might be playing. And they basically control things at our house.
Yeah.
Like that's the equivalent of like me going to Michael's house and just like plopping down on his couch, feet up on the the coffee table, and just basically drinking all his beer or something without him even having any say. It's like, it's on that level. They set up shop.
Just on my couch saying F your couch over and over again.
Exactly, yeah. Like Rick James. Yeah. it doesn't feel good. It was very weird. Like, we usually dominate proceedings in terms of possession, but I mean, it's the Nagby effect. And man, like seeing him and Gressel on the other side, weird for sure, but definitely for a little bit of time, I think they were terrorizing our left-hand side a little bit, but not in the bad terror, I suppose, because we were able to stomp out and kind of clear the danger, but
narrowly.
It definitely, barely, exactly. It was Miles Robinson,
Abram doing some crazy stuff too with trying to handle Diego Rossi. Like, the speed comparison between those two players is ridiculous.
And it's I mean, the back line did as well of a job as they could tonight. I mean, it's the Cucho Hernandez goal it's a decent goal in terms of like the build up. The issue is just how slow we react to the danger sometimes. And as well, Guzan, yes, okay, it is like very close. It's almost point blank, but I mean, it's just still the reactions are just a tad. It's a touch too. Like, I don't even understand why, like, even go for it at that point. Like, maybe anticipate earlier. I don't know. I mean, he's He was
hoping that they would shoot it directly at his body again, because they've been doing it all night, and that's what we were doing to them basically the whole time. Right. Like, so many balls were just directed straight at the keeper.
Mm-hmm. And it's I mean, you can chalk that up to positioning sometimes, but also tonight, like, there was a shot through traffic that Guzan, he just stood in the middle of the goal and it just came right to him. Like, it's sometimes it's also
Morris's shot, I think.
I think so, and it's just like this match, man. It gives you that vibe of like because we were trying to essentially we went for the two up top again, and hopefully Jamal Tiare is okay. I mean, that headed injury it looks bad.
Yeah, it didn't look. He looked wobbly.
Right, and the fact that they let him come back on, it's just like man. There's this video of this boxer that I've seen that or not boxer but UFC fighter, and or maybe it was a boxer. Either way, like, there was this fight. He got hit in the back of the head a lot, like where the other boxer, his opponent, was just fighting really dirty, continually hitting him in the back of the head, and like, I don't know why my mind went straight to that. Like, it's just like headed injuries should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And like, Taylor Twellman can assess. What's the word? Attest. Yeah. Jeez. It's already late on a Saturday. It's been a long day, but like, it's just one of those very serious things. Like, if it's a headed injury and at any point they look dazed, take them off.
Yeah.
I know he just came on, but and the fact that he played like a few more minutes is just scary.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's okay. But the whole two up top thing, back to that. I mean, I guess it kind of worked a little bit to a degree, but even though it's like our goal was off a set piece, but it's just it feels like that's when we're like bereft of ideas.
Yeah, so, the announcer said the same thing. I mean, Atlanta is just lobbing in crosses because they can't get anything going in the midfield direct or anything like that.
Right. In which case, it's like, okay, yes, have a plan B, okay, but it just shows that the balance of the midfield between the two clubs stark difference.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, yeah, they were connecting all their lines. It looked free flowing a little bit. They were imposing themselves on us, and I mean, we just couldn't break down their, pretty much anything from them. Yeah, it pretty much, we had to be the team that had to go route one, the team that had to, pretty much get something from a set piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just like, this is a little worrying. I think a lot of fans mentioned in the comments section on our post, like, first round exit, something like that, pretty much all up and down the comments. And yeah, I mean, it's like, if we play possible like that, yeah, like that's not exactly going to be inspiring a lot of confidence, for the fan base. And it's also this inside the stadium, like the energy was kind of muted.
Yeah,
it was like, it wasn't like the most positive. Like, when it's odd, like when we've wore the ATL kit, essentially the 404 kit, like, it's just a different vibe. But tonight there was this nervous energy. There was this, like, kind of essentially daring the team to, like, prove themselves. And I think it has something to do with the result on Wednesday, but it still is. Yeah, no, it's not the most confident crowd. It's not the most jubilant crowd. And yeah, well, it also was probably,
Columbus was running the show for like the entirety of the game, so they didn't have much to really be psyched about. I mean, the only time I heard the crowd roar was from the defensive actions that, like, Lennon or Brahm had to do, and Miles occasionally. So, yeah. I mean, like, if that's what you're getting psyched on, that's not great.
Right. I mean, it's good in the sense of, in terms of the crowd showing some ball knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'll give it that. But yeah, I agree. There is a part of it where you're like, oh man, like, we need to get something going, because we're not that type of club that's just goes for set pieces and route one and that type of play. And while, okay, yes, this game still is a little bit of our MO, in the sense that we give up a goal, and then, like, especially at home, and then we get, a late goal to do something about it.
Yeah.
Either to draw it level or win it. And it's just like,
I was saying during the game, like, oh my God, does Atlanta need to be scored on in order to score a goal? Like, that's what it feels like.
The urgency. I mean, it's like, yes, we were trying to go for goal early, but I think we were being a little cute. Like, we were being a little, like, yeah, some aspects where we just look like we're passing it to pass about, versus actually trying to come out the blocks and score on them, and then we can get cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it seems a symptomatic thing that we just can't shake, at least the past 2 seasons. Like, we're just the cardiac kids. We can not let it be kind of boring a little bit, in the sense of, like, okay, yeah, we scored, we keep a clean sheet, we we control the game to death. Like, but I think that comes with, as well, I think, maybe a little bit more quality, and there's just a little bit of quality lacking, I think, in some spots on the 11, and that's kind of the difference. Is like, yeah, that's why we're not controlling proceedings, and also the legs look heavy.
Yeah, I
mean, which can affect that quality.
Rosie had a bad game, and he was directly responsible for the goal. So, when your midfielder, who's such an important part of the team and connecting lines and defensive responsibilities, he gets completely embarrassed by, I think it was Aiden Morris, who just blew right by him and then was able to get a pass off, even though Rossetto was like right there in the way and could have, in my estimation, by looking at the replay, could have just poked it away if he was kind of paying attention. But he got, I don't know, like head tricked or something like that, and he like got sold a direction, and then his foot wasn't in the right place, and then the guy just like put the ball right past him, right onto Cucho's foot, and Cucho's like, well, I'm literally right next to goal, so how am I going to miss this?
Right. Yeah, it's just an often case of what we talk about with Rossetto is like there's just not enough defensive awareness nor ability to play it forwards. Like he does well enough to keep it a lot of times, but yeah I mean, there was a ball forward that he tried to play that it was just like he hit it right into a defender. Yeah. It's just like it almost made me think of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's maybe why he doesn't play it forward. Like it's these are the reasons.
He also took decided to do one of his like really crazy shots, and that just went completely off the mark.
Yep, and I think that's what Columbus will take all day. Like, yes, they'll give us that. Like that's not gonna stress them very much, but anyway. So let's get into the chat.
Okay.
Let's see what the people are saying.
And while we're doing that, we'll have our first guest get lined up. All right, we got Elliot Beaven said, crew were dominating the midfield. Connor Watson says, howdy. Drew in the chat says hello. Hopefully you'll see him soon. Ty says, let's go Atlanta. Elliot Beaven also says, a lot of emotion in this game. Connor says, Rosie need to tackle instead of poke on their goal. I mean, he needs to do literally anything. That's really the thing there. He just had to have done something, and he did nothing. So,
and speaking of emotion, Parkey hitting the golden spike, wearing Anton Walks' kit.
That's awesome. Much respect there.
Yeah, man. It's like if that doesn't like at least bring a tear to your eye, it's like man.
Elliot also says, Gigi and Almada do not look like themselves right now. YoPro says the crew community was pissed off about Drusy getting subbed off, saying that his replacement, I forgot his name, didn't stop the ball. Elliot says, I think Molino made the foul that caused the land of the goal. You're right, Elliot. That was a tactical error by Wilfred Nancy to put him in at the end, thinking he could chill the game off. But the guy just didn't have, he wasn't up to speed for the game, and that showed. He made a silly foul and then gave us a perfect position to score a goal. YoPro says, yeah, that's what happened, and now he is Crew's number one enemy. Connor Watson says, we also had quite a few people missing since we had Georgia and the Braves playing big games today. That's also true. Yeah. Disc B, I don't know if I saw you in the chat before, but welcome. You said Giacomakis needs a goal or three to get that killer edge back. He looks like he may be in a slump. If Gio can get back to being clinical again, I have hope for the postseason. If he doesn't, I'm not nearly as optimistic. And Kevin says, are we ever going to get the old fan cam interviews back at the stadium? We might do that, and that depends on you guys with helping out with Patreon, because its stuff is expensive and difficult to do. But please, if you guys are interested in that, that's something we have earmarked, so with the Patreon you can help realize that goal. YoPro lastly says Molina is one of the most paid players for the crew at $800K. That's rough, but anyway, I mean, it's tough.
We have that too.
A guy. Yeah, it's tough when you have a guy coming in late in the game and he's just not up to speed. And you've seen players get like run around being late to the game and stuff like that. So I feel bad for him because it's probably not a good representation of like his abilities, but it is what it is. So we have Drew here with us. Drew, how are you doing? How do you feel about this game? Did it excite like everyone thought this game was going to be super exciting with all the goals and everything?
Not at all, but great finish. I lost my mind when Miles scored, but for the entire 90 minutes, it was kind of a drag, and Columbus controlled the entire match. Our midfield was overrun from the start. It was kind of scary to see how much they were able to control the game and just completely shut us down just by taking out our midfield.
Yeah, that's what's like really dire about that is that's all it takes is a really good midfield, because there are some wobbly things about the Crew, but I think large in part they're gonna be a force in the playoffs. And I see the was that some Crown that you had?
Yes,
that you brought up?
Crown Vanilla.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. It's that type of night. Yeah.
It's that type of night I needed for the anxiety at the end of that game.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's
no one can blame you.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was at the end of the match. I mean, if we were, I think maybe if we were trying to go for a winner like after that, that gets a little bit more, some more anxiety, some different anxiety.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of, I guess, how you saw the match beyond maybe our midfield miscues. I mean, just this defense, like it's up and down, but it's like it's good in moments, and then it's like.
I was gonna say our back line played very well today. It was one mistake by Rossetto not to pick up his man and punished us, and I can't really blame the two center backs on those. They had their guys, and just one little mistake from Rossetto, and it cost us a goal.
Cucho was also sitting right smack in the middle of our CBs again, like every freaking game.
Yeah, we do have a problem with that very badly.
He's letting strikers drift in between defenders. It's every time.
Yeah, it gets. You kind of pick it up, and at some points you kind of go, okay, this makes sense for an attacker to make that move in between our striker or our center backs, but with how often it's happening, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, their job is to do that, and our job is to stop that, and we're not good at stopping it.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do well enough maybe for most of the plays, but it's that moment that we switch off, and we just there's just too many instances at home where we switch off. Of course, we did that on the road as well this week, but I guess in terms of unfortunately, but in terms of I guess looking at the two results this week, I mean, I say result very loosely, obviously, but in terms of the two matches and basically how we do not have home field advantage, does this worry you going into the ultimate match of the season? But like it's pretty much, it's kind of a dead rubber for both teams a little bit, and so it's like what almost do we have to play for on decision day to a degree?
What we have to play for is pick our matchup. If we can win our game and get the result we want, we can. What I am hoping for is we play New England, is because that could be our matchup if we get a win in Cincy and get 5th place. We play the 4-5 matchup. That's our best case, because looking at the two teams we just played, I don't like our chances. I don't like our chances.
Yep. It is gonna be a tough assignment either way, but yes, New England Revolution definitely look the most gettable, which makes sense, seeing as how the table looks. But yeah, I mean, it's this type of game that's like I think I was mentioning it earlier. Could you feel it from watching it? Like,
yeah, you could feel it at times where it just, the crowd didn't feel as into it. It felt very tense, honestly. You could feel it during the defensive plays that there was kind of a build-up, but other than that, you didn't hear the crowd as much as I've heard it most games.
Yeah, and it's a fair point about the Braves and all that, but it's like, okay, yeah, there's some overlap, but still, like, it was still pretty full.
Yeah.
Like I was looking around the stadium. Yes, still some empty seats here and there. The dad and his son that always sit next to me, or at least have seats next to me, he's only, again, been there for like 20% of the games, but he wasn't there either. So it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like if it's a little bit empty, he's just not going to be there. But it was pretty much that vibe where it's like, okay, yeah, I think the diehards are still here. There's still like 75% casuals, but yeah, it just felt a little muted. But yeah, it's always hard on nights like these. But your 3 stars.
Our 2 center backs, for one, Abram has been stellar in this basically second half of the season after Leagues Cup. He's been amazing, honestly. Miles with the goal, and he also played pretty well defensively in this game. Third one, I'll probably give to Lennon. Lennon played well defensively and was trying to get into the attack. He had a couple chances there in the beginning, but he just didn't have the service or wasn't able to provide the service in the end. But I thought he had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, no, defensively he was immense. I mean, there was a couple of times where he had to head chances from Columbus outside the box or out, clear the danger, and then like countless other times where he had to use his feet. I mean, it's also Guzan had a pretty decent match.
Oh yeah.
That was the other one I was thinking about. He kept us in the game most of the time. Just that one goal. It looked like he could have done better.
He was having like an LAFC style game there for a minute.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like a lot of keepers do get beat between the legs. He wasn't having any of that.
Yeah.
And so that's the good thing there. He's got, I think, decent reactions with his feet. It's just anything above the waist is the issue, and anything to his, like, that he has to dive to his sides, like, it's just not happening for him anymore.
Yeah.
And there was somebody that this happens so often now, unfortunately, but like there's somebody that walked up while I was like tweeting out everything, and he like shouted out the channel. He was like doing all that, but then he was like, when is Guzan gonna go? Like, that's the first thing out of his mouth, essentially. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, I see it, and I know what you're saying, but like,
it looks bad. I get it with the goal, but
exactly. It's just like, it's not entirely his fault, but it is his fault still.
You would have liked to seen him at least attempt to get a better effort on that save, and maybe give us a chance. Yeah,
right. And very often he's just like, it's already in the net and he's going down, or at least like putting a paw to it. It's just like, these people aren't wrong. The eye test does prove it, and then the shot percentage or the save percentage also does prove it.
Yeah.
But like, it's the first word out of somebody's mouth is what just is incredulous. But anyway, Drew, what are your final thoughts on this match?
Not the result we were looking for. Exciting finish. Hope that we can get 3 points in Cincy and end the season strong going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
And hopefully everybody stays healthy on international break. Please.
Yeah. because we're gonna have pretty much like everybody out again.
Yep.
And it's and we just had an international break. These international breaks are just a bit troublesome. It's like, yes, rah rah, go America, but it also is like we're in the middle of a season where it's like, yeah, it's the business end. Like, we don't have to send all our guys out. We have a choice, but yeah, we're the bad guys, you know, if we do that.
Yeah. You're not going to attract talent that wants to play for their national teams if you're a team who restricts their ability to go play for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But it's just frustrating because it's like, okay, if any of them get injured, and God forbid, I'm knocking some wood really hard, but that's the thing. It's like, yeah, like it's right around the corner, and it's like, of course, you know, we've been made the villain for Miles Robinson in the past.
That's right.
When we've done that, so okay, yeah. I mean, at this point, you almost have to tell the diehards, the U.S. men's national team diehards, to shove it, because it's just like we have to put these players in cotton wool sometimes too, though.
Oh yeah.
Like, luckily, we have not had too much of an issue lately, but
yeah,
like,
but it's killed us in the past. I mean, that's probably the reason why we didn't make MLS Cup in 2019, is because of Miles Robinson getting injured by not even playing in a training session for the United States men's national team when we needed him for the playoffs.
So yeah, it's just a really, like, this isn't, the timing is just worrisome. But anyway, all right. But Drew, enjoy your crown. Thank you so much as always, and we will see you next time. Have a great rest of the night.
Thanks, buddy. All right, so before we get our next guest on, I'll read a couple comments from the chat. Please, guys, feel free, send them in. We will read them, and we will talk about them.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get our next guest on, but yeah, I mean, man, this match just gets you kind of talking, you know, like just talking to yourself.
Yeah. Discby says, I'm jealous of Gressel giving good service. I'm surprised if a cross is on target from anyone except Almada. Team needs to practice crosses. So frustrating to see wasted possession due to poor crossing. Elliot says, Lennon was good on defense today. Yes, he was. Discby also says, yeah, Lennon was a brick wall. Not having home field advantage is a spooky proposition. Andre Mintz, glad to have you in the chat. Don't know if I recognize you if you've been here before, but welcome. He says, Goose unfortunately needs to retire. And Yopro says, thoughts on the crew only having 2 more on-target shots. But, I mean, I think what was more disconcerting was the amount that they had just in terms of total shots, 2-hour amount of total shots. They, like, buried us in shots. Granted, like, they only had 2 more on target, but, I mean, that's just not good, and it's unacceptable. At home, we're getting peppered in the goal.
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant how many are on goal. That's more on them. But if we concede a ton of shots, that's on us. Like 100%, that's on us. And so it's like it's always bad if we give up a lot of shots. And I think it's also there was another comment that you had in the chat.
Let me see if I can find it.
I wanted to speak to it, but
I'm jealous of Gressel giving good service. I'm surprised if cross is on target from anyone except Almada.
Yeah. How did you know? How did you read my mind? Wow.
Because it was an interesting comment. Thank you very much, Disky, for the comment.
Yeah. Like, on that, like, okay, yes, Gressel, I think he compensates for his lack of pace by playing the ball early, because he knows, getting to the byline, not exactly his thing, but he can put an accurate ball in behind. He can put a good ball over the top, and that was on. Like, he was trying to do that. Caleb Wiley was wise to it, which was great. But yeah, Like we weren't exactly doing that, and then yes, our crosses weren't very accurate. We had a good number of chances at the back post that just out of reach, which Niall can attest to because I saw him at the stadium. What's up, my boy? And
how you doing, Niall?
great to see you in person. But yeah, no, I think it was actually the first time we actually met, maybe in person.
Maybe. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, but
was it everything you hoped and dreamed about?
So we didn't really get to like chat too much, but yeah, I figured we'd see each other, on the stream. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, how was your feeling at the stadium about this match?
Oh, this is probably the worst I've seen us play at home in a long, long time. Probably even, I don't know, I can't remember a game where we played this bad at home, maybe before the game against Miami. But it was just frustrating because Columbus were 100% the better team. I've never seen an opponent be able to control the match that much here at the Benz.
Outside of maybe like Austin last year or whatever that game was.
It's just not something you see normally. Like Atlanta at home you consider them to be pretty dominant. And just like the players today, I don't think they stood well enough to the challenge. I can only say really that Guzan and Lennon were probably the best players on the night, but Almada, apart from the assist, obviously was quiet.
Yeah.
Gigi was on an island.
Yeah,
really.
When you talk about that, Niall, what did you think about the at least two like almost sitters that Gigi missed tonight? Like, what is that?
He has to put those away. I don't know what's been up with him, but he's just looked off, and I don't know what that is. Is that like tiredness or fatigue or what it is? But he's just looked off the pace recently. I think he's honestly, I think he's just getting quite frustrated.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can see it in his face. He just, every time he has a chance and he misses it, he just looks completely frustrated. And when he doesn't get the service that he wants, he's kind of like Joseph in a sense, where he's like a very hungry player. So if he doesn't get the ball, if he doesn't get service, he's gonna be upset, and that's gonna kind of be how he feels throughout the match unless he scores. So I think he's just been frustrated, and also he's just getting constantly just the defenders are, I think, starting to like figure out how he plays a bit more, and I think he's just getting frustrated. Obviously he also needs to be able to be open for the service, but also the team also has to be sure that they can provide him with that service as well. So it goes hand in hand.
You know what, honestly. I miss offsides Yako. That's what I miss. I want to see him get offsides multiple times a game trying to lose defenders. That's what I want to see, and I just don't see it anymore.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because that's what it is like, that's when he's making a ton of runs, a ton of selfless moves. And yes, I think that's why you see the frustration from him, is that, it probably is the fatigue a little bit. And he knows he only has so many runs in him that if he doesn't get fed the ball, it's going to be a thing where, I just wasted some energy there. Damn it. Like, it's one of those, like, when am I going to get the ball next when I make another selfless run?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get it that time. Like, it's a compounding type of thing. And, if he makes a lot more runs, he will be more offside. And that was the thing about Joseph Martinez. Like, he was... the knock on him from the casual fans was that, guy's always offside. But it's like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Is like...
Keep the back line honest, yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes you do, like, you play being offside so that, yeah, okay, so if it's played out to a winger, well, then now you're onside if, that winger is pacey enough and can square the ball to you or put in an early ball to the front post. So, yeah, 100%. It is that, like, Yakumaki's, yeah, he's maybe not being fed enough as well, but it is also, yeah, he's not running enough.
He missed the 2 sitters, so I mean, he had his chances.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like usually he doesn't need that many chances. Like usually, I think it's like 1 of 2. Like he'll put it away. So yeah, and I'm glad, Niall, that you're putting your face a little bit more on now. I don't know if you've seen the show Home Improvement. It's probably a little bit before your time, but the neighbor, essentially, when you were talking, it just progressively got lower and lower, and I was just trying to follow your eyes, but it just. But anyway, it's you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but yeah. Either way, go check out. Just Google the neighbor on Home Improvement, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just, yeah, he's behind a fence, and you always do this for the entirety of the show.
All right, let's get away from Grandpa Corner again. Okay.
I know, right?
Dangerously in Grandpa Corner.
Anyway, yeah, I know.
So a question I have for Niall, also a second question today is, so in the press conference, Henry Higuita asked Gonzo, there was a lot of players making runs that didn't see passes get to them. There was a lot of errant passes where they thought a guy was going to make a run and they didn't. Seems to be a lot of miscue and misinformation and just not being on the same page. He was trying to ask Gonzo, why do you think that is? And Gonzo's answer essentially just was like, yeah, we just weren't on the same page. So, but my question is like, would you guys like to delve into that a little bit deeper? Maybe you have some ideas as to why tonight we seemed so disconnected with a lot of these, passes and runs.
I think part of it is that I feel like a lot of times we overcomplicated things with our passes. We were trying to be fancy. I also think Columbus just had a good game plan in terms of making sure that that our runs were not dangerous enough. I felt like things were a bit predictable at times from us on our end, and we just lacked creativity. I felt like we needed to switch the ball quite a bit more than we did. I don't know.
Thiago's really like the only capable of like getting like a good switch on.
Yeah.
Wait, who'd you say?
Thiago. He switches all the time.
Yeah, it is that. And yeah, there was, well, that's the thing too, though. His balls were a little heavy tonight.
Yeah, they were.
And that's the
Wiley one? Oof. So close.
Yeah, the Wiley one, the Lennon one, over the top and behind where, yeah, it's like, oh, if he had put it like just a little lighter, like Lennon would have been on it and it would have been as close to the keeper. And I think that's the thing is like, yes, he played 90 on Wednesday and then he played 90 tonight. Like that's really, really good from, a player his age for one, but it also is like, I think that's the fatigue. Yeah. Like these players, they like the quality will go when you're fatigued. And as well, it's like, that's where the kind of dysfunction will happen in my eyes. That's like, if you, again, with Yakumakis as well, if you only have so many runs in you, like you're going to try to preserve the times that you actually make that. And yeah, so if the quality of ball is a little less, and then the frequency of the runs is a little less, that's what you saw tonight, is that, yeah, we just weren't good enough. And that might be a really kind reason for, maybe just how we played tonight. I think Gonzalo Pineda probably what he says in the press conference versus what he says to his players probably might be a little bit of a different thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine, I would hope so as well.
I'm sure it is.
That that he grills into these players a little bit more. Like I expect more from you guys, and because it was that like there was a little bit of. I know it's okay, yeah. Like Lennon, yes, he's got lung-busting runs that he makes all the time, but this match he held back his runs a little bit sometimes. Like there was where Mosquera when he came on, he just kind of just let him be like in the middle. It was like 80th minute. Like okay, he was like okay, I'm gonna save my energy. I'm gonna save it until the end.
Columbus played who was it? New England away on the 4th, like 3 days ago, and they looked way more energized than us. Like that's inexcusable too.
Exactly, but it is that it's like yes, they could just be more fit than us, which okay, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Like at this point in juncture in the season, but it's also this. Not to let off any of the players, but Shauna Silva, Saba, they just came in. Like it's been about a month and some change, right? I think they can be somewhat forgiven.
Yeah.
The rest of the players, yeah, not really. I think they need to be match fit. They need to be 90 fit for being able to play every 3 days. That's just, if you want to be a top player, that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I agree that it's not good enough, but is it the reason why that we look the way we did? So,
Niall,
but
could you give us your 3 stars of the match?
3 stars of the match. I'll say Guzan. I will say Lennon, and I will also say Miles.
Okay.
For my 3 stars.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunately it wasn't any of the offensive players.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked what Edwin did when he came on. I think he did.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, he made a point to dribble at his defender, and his take-ons essentially, and yeah, it didn't come off every single time, but yeah, I mean, he was trying to make things happen.
Yeah,
and I think with a little bit more quality on the ball, yeah, maybe we would have had some goals at the back post, because I think it was like man, the crowd, you could like those were like the biggest moments, and they weren't even that close, but it was just like it was close enough that the crowd was just like, in unison, the awing and hemming and hawing and all that, and it's just like kind of comical because it's like, I mean, that was a half chance at best.
Yeah, well, they didn't have much to get riled up about, so they had to do something, I guess.
It pretty much was. But anyway, Niall, final thoughts on this match?
If we play like we did today and like we have been recently, I think we get out of the playoffs pretty early. We just don't look the part, and that's concerning considering how we started entering the final stretch of the season against Miami and against other teams, and we looked like a top team, but now I feel like we're kind of our form's kind of dipping a bit, and it's not at the right time because we're about to head into the playoffs.
This is when you want to peak.
Yeah, this is when you want to peak. This is when you need to be ready. And this game at home was a perfect opportunity for you to bounce back after what was a disappointing loss to Philly, but you didn't. And now you have to go see what you can do against Cincinnati, and that is not going to be an easy game whatsoever either. So the very possibility could be that you don't end up getting pretty much any points from these 3 matches, and that's not a good look heading into the playoffs, especially since you're probably going to be on the road.
Yeah. Well, we did get a point tonight, so we
at
at least
least tonight,
but it is very still like you get 1 point out of 3 matches in your run-in. That's not great, but it also like we'll give it this, and we knew this going into into this business end anyway, that we had the hardest run-in.
Yes,
and these teams, like it's basically this: we're getting found out.
Yeah,
we are not as good of a team as the 2 teams that we just played.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, we were beating up on worse teams like that when we were catching fire. Those teams were not very good. They're struggling. They had issues, and we just kind of exploited it. But when we go up against real competition, I mean, I'm happy, kind of, with like how we've done against some of them. But it's not good enough, and it's not trending in the right direction either. I was expecting to be able to do better this game after the disappointing result against Philadelphia, even though we really gave it to them towards the end. And I was really happy with that. That made me think, okay, this, Philly was the runner-up last year. We belong in the playoffs. But then now we keep dropping points when we should be winning against other playoff teams, and it's making me not very confident.
Yeah.
Because looking at it like this, I guess, right? Say this was a home and away, all right? And we played away to Philly, and we didn't get the points, right? Or we didn't get a win. And we play at home, and all we can muster is a rescue of a draw. I get it that they're 2 different teams, but it's also, like, you're going to get knocked out this way.
Yeah.
So we need to fix up and figure out some other ways to play, within the system and fast with players that are the starting 11, because the whole 4-4-2 thing, like, it's not inspiring a lot of confidence either. Albeit, like, against Philly, I think we exploited energy levels. I don't think we exploited a systemic flaw within Philadelphia Union. But anyway, Niall, thank you so much, man. Appreciate your thoughts.
As always.
We will, see you next time. But have a great rest of your night.
All right, take care, buddy.
All right, I'll be.
All right, and we have 2 more guests tonight. And while we line up the next one, let's read some of the comments in the chat. All right, we have Andre Mintz saying Goose unfortunately needs to retire. Yeah, I read that one. I think Travis says Yakamaz did not look good tonight. He was slow. He was out of position, and he tried to heel the ball twice, and it went straight to the other team. He also says, I don't know why we take him out, but when he's having a good game, but didn't sub him out tonight. Yoper said Gigi was playing for a modern 9 or false 9. Kevin CG says, do we have an option to buy Zonde Silva, because he's the winger we have always needed. Elliot says Tristan Muyomba had a chance to head the ball to the net, but he was an inch short. That's true, I remember that. ATL Rain says decision day is going to be difficult.
He's literally an inch short. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, that was the problem with that.
He got in the area.
Yeah.
He
can drift in. He's sneaky like that. And he has scored headers by drifting in and, losing his defender, which is great. And like I said, we need more scoring threats. ATL Rain says decision day is going to be difficult for Atlanta United since they got to play FC Cincinnati. That's true. All right. We have our next guest up, and it is Adam. Could you please have your video on for us? We'd appreciate it. Great, excellent, fantastic. Welcome to the show. First time.
Good, man. Good.
Yeah. All right, so give us your hot takes, cold takes, and medium takes from this game.
I'm gonna go say, first of all, Jay was pretty good. I have to say, this game.
Jay Fortune.
First few times.
Jay Fortune.
Yeah, Jay was really good actually, in my opinion.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when he came on, it felt like he did control some things for us. Provided a little bit more steel. Yeah, I mean, he didn't give it away in the box, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Also, I'm right now scared for Yakumaki's golden boot race. As we're looking at it, it's not in jeopardy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
It's
know
probably
if that's gonna happen.
it's not going to happen unless he scores, a hat trick.
Yeah.
Maybe if he scores 4, maybe he can put it really out of distance. But yeah,
Imagine he
I
scores
don't
a
know.
hat
Most he
trick
can do
against-
is long shots.
You
if
imagine
he wants to put
scores
it up.
a hat trick in
That's it.
Cincinnati? That would be
I
insane.
know, right?
He could have scored one against Seattle,
Yeah.
but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the crux of it sometimes. Like I think what was just about to be said was like he gets taken out sometimes when he's on a hat trick or but then when he's not really doing too much, he stays in the game. So it's like okay,
I don't know.
it's
Penny's
fun.
waiting for him.
Yeah.
I think Penny's taking his time with him, trying to see if he'll get one at least. But I don't know why
And it
Penny
could
has
be.
to take him.
Yeah, it could be that he's trying to get him going because I think he just needs to see the ball ripple the net.
Yeah.
And after that, obviously we've seen, that spurt in the season where he just kept scoring. And sometimes that's all he needs. Like the striker just needs confidence sometimes. So I think you're right.
But the main way to do is scoring goals when you have that's a problem.
Yeah.
It is. Absolutely. How'd you find the match on the whole? Like
It's very concerning. I have to say it so much.
Yeah. Very concerning indeed.
You're showing it. Like in the first half, we had to have 8 corners against us. Like when you see that, like you're gonna be scared. At least one could have won it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I was surprised with our defense, especially with that.
Yeah. Our defense was extremely lackluster tonight, except for Miles. Well, actually, no. Let me amend that. It wasn't lackluster. I thought it was actually pretty good. I think about it. It was the midfield that was the real big problem for me. Just that's the way that they were able to generate all of those shots, like 17 in the first half alone, which was insane.
Yeah, that's the issue. We're not shielding our defense, and so they're getting peppered because we just cannot prevent the looks. And I mean there are a number of just like I'm in the stadium just saying oh shit, and like luckily they just weren't clinical for most of them, but like it took them inside the 6-yard box to score. So okay, at the very least we have that going for us.
They didn't do like a Montreal, what they had to do from complete range.
Yeah.
So,
what else do you got for us, Adam?
I have to say, when Miles was about to shoot, like when he headed it in, Guzan was looking straight at the ball and could have just tapped it in for himself. So that kind of like
it almost exactly right.
I don't know how Miles would have felt if he was stolen by Guzan for that goal. Like he was staring dead at it. So,
I don't think he would have cared. I think he would have thought it would be funny. Because I think it would be hilarious if that happened.
Yeah.
And then 90th minute, of course. There's always like the Ben's magic.
Yep.
Where you always have, and the thing is, Etienne dribbled really well. Like I saw him go past like 3 defenders really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he deserves some plaudits tonight for sure. Like he, when he came on, he looked like he was trying to make something happen. In terms of his service, there wasn't really much, but he was trying to get into spaces and at least provide some sort of an option for other players. So that is good. But back to Robinson's goal. Like I think there's gonna be photos of Brad Guzan celebrating with the whole team. In which case, that's like a goalkeeper's dream because they
He's
just usually have to.
We always have to witness it from like the complete end.
Yep.
Right. So that's it's gonna be really funny to see those photos. I think because Yeah, like he's just. I think we know this by now of Braguzan. Like he's extremely silly of a person, right? And so it's like, yeah, like yes, he like barks at his his teammates a lot, but like when he can celebrate or when he can just be ridiculous, like he's gonna be ridiculous. And I didn't really pay attention to him in terms of the celebration, but I'm very curious what those pictures look like because there's probably some like he's probably beating up Miles Robinson with his gloves or something. Like
puts him in a headlock, gives him a noogie. That's probably what it is.
Exactly. Like yeah, and those are gonna be scenes. Yeah. But
what else you got for us, Adam?
I just have to the TR concussion issue is definitely going to be a big issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Miguel Berry, he came on, and I'm not sure what he did. I mean he tried to play a little interchange with Almada, but other than that,
I didn't see him much with a ball. I just saw him just go in and out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was I didn't see much of him. Yeah. But like it was kind of inevitable that Kucho like had to score. It had like this type of dilemma.
It was a Kucho goal, yeah. I was surprised. He did take a couple shots from distance that I thought were going to be a little more scary than they were. I was kind of expecting a banger out of him because he does that a lot, but it was the slow, close range knife that did us in.
I was also confused how like most shots were directly at Guzan, and I thought but also like when he catched the ball once, he just dropped it, and that would create a chaos within the defense.
Again, Morris just putting his place, like just disrupting things for our team, just making a veteran goalkeeper lose the ball, and going out for what was that, a corner? Because Legend had to blast it,
It is. I mean, usually he's pretty sure-handed in terms of aerial balls, but that was at least one instance of that tonight where, I mean, it's also that, keepers can get put off. And, I mean, there's some moments where if it's a little nervy, you're maybe a little unsure to catch it or to punch it. Or to just keep it in your vicinity. And he looked like maybe he was in between two minds.
Yeah, so. Which is, I mean, as a veteran goalkeeper, you'd feel like that's what you're paying for, to not be indecisive like that. But it is what it is. Adam, what did you think of the Thiago Almada shot through traffic that somehow their goalkeeper was able to keep an eye on and stop it?
I was definitely confused because I was expecting him to shoot, but I didn't see him go that low. I thought he could have went a bit higher with that moment.
It had a swerve. He sliced it. It had a nasty swerve on it, too.
Of course, all of our shots went towards the goalkeeper, even the Miles header.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on target, though, Almada's hit.
I think it was.
It looked like it was.
I think it was.
Maybe, are we talking about the same one? The one from distance outside the box?
No, the one that the ball came back to him after it was jumbled around in the mixer. He got it on the top of the 18, and through traffic, he found a slot to blast it through. And somehow the keeper got an eye on it, even though there was three defenders kind of screening him. He still was able to see it through the announcers, just a little hole he had. He was able to keep an eye on it, and then was able to make the save against a tricky ball because it was curving outwards towards the post. So, great save.
Number one, you see the down view, on the ground. You see there was a big hole through the traffic, which is a weird thing.
And that's where Thiago was like, "There's my hole. I'm going to take the shot," and the goalkeeper was able to be on the same page with him.
He just hits it with such venom too. Man, it's on a good night. I mean, I guess, on a bad night, I guess, really, more so. He's still stinging the keeper's gloves, most of the time. So, and on a good night, obviously, he's avoiding the gloves altogether and putting it in the top bins. So, we need that Almada back. And, I think that's the crux of it, is that we haven't seen him quite some time.
Yeah.
But do you Adam? Do you have some thoughts on like why maybe Gigi and Almada have been a little bit not themselves?
I think it's the chemistry. That's it.
Mm.
So you think over time that the chemistry will get much better, and we'll see like significantly improved relationship between the two on the field.
Well, of course, like they'll definitely like try to communicate with each other and try to. But like they don't speak the exact same language. Like Almada speaks Spanish mainly. I don't know about his English. So but Yakimakis knows English, so we just have to find out how they'll communicate easily.
Yeah, I don't think they use language. I think they use a series of yelps and screams probably. So that would be my guess.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like so Machop Chol speaks with a lot of the like a lot of the Spanish speaking I guess players. They all like really love him, but he also like I don't know how much Spanish he knows though. Like maybe he does, but I would imagine maybe there's some English thrown in there. So I think they're speaking English together, and obviously, yeah, it not being their first language for either of them. Yeah, it's probably a little broken, but there's a soccer language, there's a football language, like
I know there's also like Sande who knows like a bunch of languages.
The
like, he knows like
announcers
French,
talked
Portuguese.
He knows
English.
5.
Like he'll communicate with anyone easily. Yeah, I think he also knows Spanish, so like he kind of can communicate with anyone really in the team.
Maurice Sadu I think was talking about how Zande is the glue of that Gonzo said Zande is the glue of the team because he speaks everyone's language, so he can kind of be the go-between for everybody.
And it's useful. I mean, that's what I think. It's probably why Mateo Sessetu was named captain for a little bit of time. It's because he can speak English, Portuguese, Spanish, and was the longest serving at that point.
Right.
So it makes sense. I mean, it's like if there's only one guy
knows Chinese.
Yeah, it did say in the commentary like they did say that Shandy does know like a bit of like Chinese.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's good for him.
It would be Mandarin, but yeah. For the record.
Oh yeah, you sure it's Mandarin? You sure it's not Cantonese?
Oh, did you say Cantonese or you said Chinese?
I said Chinese, but I'm just saying, how do you know it's Mandarin?
Well, that's true, but yeah.
It's more likely than it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Zande could know like a tiny bit of Greek since he did play in the Greek league for a bit.
Good, he could. Apparently he's a polyglot. That's a fancy word meaning someone who can pick up and understand languages very easily. So it wouldn't be surprised me if he's just sitting there going with like a how to learn Greek book just on his off time to be like, oh yeah, now I can just speak Greek to Gigi.
I want to know like Sunday will stay for Atlanta because like there's an option for him to like be bought out.
What do you think?
I think if he continues, then yeah. But like if he just continues, just not performing like today, then I don't know how that'll go.
Okay. Yeah. You think it's performance based? All right. Can we ask you for your 3 stars, Adam?
They're pretty. Abram, Guzan, and Mosquera.
I like the Mosquera shout. Yeah, I was talking about him earlier. I think he does the exact same thing he does every time. He's a precision weapon to be used in this specific way, and he's good at it.
Because like the Columbus Crew, like they're kind of like tired out because they play like so many weeks without a stop, and then you have Mosquera who is like energized with a quick speed to kind of annoy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he almost snuck in a goal like he did in some of the other games.
Yeah, it is that. It's like it's so fascinating about Mosquera and like, yeah, it is. Like when Saba came off, he was pissed, and it's like, I mean, yeah, with good reason. I mean, I think he should be pissed at himself too because
well, maybe that is why he's pissed. We don't know.
Right, but yeah, he's probably thinking like, okay, yeah, no, I have like way more techers than Edwin Mosquera, but ultimately he hasn't done much in his last 2 matches. Like,
Yeah.
Like he's played a little passively, and Mascara, on the other hand, like he's looked like he's hungry.
He's very prolific in this like scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, he's like Michael's saying, it's the perfect weapon off the bench to run at tired defenses.
Yeah, we were just using Edwin wrong. That like my old take earlier in the season was like, Edwin is trash, and the reason I said that is because we were just we were using him wrong, and now that we're using him correctly, he's actually useful.
He's basically for a while there. This is the drink moment. Don't drink, Adam.
Okay.
I know you're not old enough.
Yeah.
But basically, like Theo Walcott for Arsenal, like it's the drink for the Arsenal moment. But basically, it's like you bring on a pacey person that will just stretch the defenses, and that's why we got into the final third a lot more. Like that was our issue all match, is that we couldn't get to their final third. Yeah. It took balls over the top. It took like direct play in order for us to get there. And I mean, at least we switched it up to be able to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been a little bit of a different match if we realized from the get-go, okay, this ain't working. First 70 minutes, this ain't working.
I know Pineda did take accountability because he tried to fix it at the second half. But it wasn't working. And like if you keep changing, it won't like work eventually.
Yeah, so. He did say this was kind of on him. He said in this game.
Yeah, because we were trying to play off from the back. It was just like this, like they're pressing us very well, like almost so well that it was incredibly difficult to get out of our half.
Yeah.
So at that point, keep them honest, play the ball over the top, but it's also we don't have the quality to find those players over the top.
Yeah.
So it's also that. But I think that's something that we got to practice. Like we got to train that. We got to find scenarios that, okay, if it's not Guzan that, plays the ball over the top, then it's got to be one of our other defenders. So who's the best one on the ball? Probably Brooks Lennon. So play some earlier balls, switch it up, do some other things. So it's good. It's good that he acknowledged that. Hopefully he can do that. But
what are your final thoughts on the match?
Jake's.
I don't know. It was a very weird game, especially how it ended. So I cannot really put much thoughts on it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Mm-hmm. It is that. I mean,
it was a weird game. Everyone expected this game to unfold differently than it did. So you can't.
I was expecting a goal in the first half.
Right. Yeah. Most people expected probably a shootout a little bit, but not the case. It was slow, methodical.
People were calling it a chess match. I've heard people say that a lot. This game.
Yeah. This was like a heavyweight battle in terms of if you ever watch boxing, it's just like these guys are just. It's like they're just bobbing and weaving for the whole round. It's just like all right, this is this is very interesting for you guys, I'm sure. But as entertainment goes, not what it. Yeah, but anyway, Adam, pleasure. Definitely amazing for you to come on for your first time.
Thank
you. Definitely.
Appreciate you having on, buddy.
See you in the future, man. Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for boosting our Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right, take care, Adam. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your night.
All right, so we have one more guest, but before we get to that, we'll do a little bit more with the chat. Let's see what they're saying. Etienne seems to understand his role now a little better, Connor says. That's interesting. I feel like we don't have enough of a sample size to conclude on something like that. I need to see more from Etienne if I'm going to... But it's like the season's ending. He's probably going to be gone, so I don't really care at that point whether or not he's understanding his role now to be honest.
Right. It's really not understanding the role. It's just like, okay, where can you be useful? Because at this point, like, he's not going to see too many benches if he doesn't find a way to be useful when he comes on.
Right.
And yeah, he was a little bit more useful tonight, but like his service has got to be better. He's a Ford. Like, he's got to be a little bit more just I mean, the word is clinical. Like, he's got to put some sort of final ball in. And I mean, I think, does he have an assist this season?
I think he might. I think he might have
I think he has an assist, but definitely no goals. But it's just
yeah.
Like, that's rough.
And for how much he's being paid, it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, Gavin, could you please switch on your camera for us? Appreciate it. Here he is, back again.
What's up, guys?
Yep.
Good to see you guys.
Going, my boy.
How was the match?
Hell of a match at the end, yeah.
Yeah, it's always. I always feel like when I go to the matches, it's something. It's like we can be outplayed most of the match. Only difference was this match we were mostly outplayed the entire 90, and the last play of the match was the goal from Robinson. We lucked out. So.
Yeah, and is that always the case a little bit? We kind of save our own tails a lot, but it's not a bad thing to have in terms of what we do.
Yeah.
But it is, in terms of sustainability, I mean, that's the word too, though. It's like, I mean, technically we've sustained this ability to be able to score late and like make things really uncomfortable for the teams that we're playing. Basically, we don't ever say die.
Yeah.
We don't know when we're beat. So it's a good trait to have, but man,
we're a frustrating team to play
Trend we
against.
see every season.
Yeah, like, it's, in terms of predictability, that's the thing, I guess. And can you captivate a fan base with that ability?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel about like, could you feel the energy through the screen tonight from the crowd? Like, was there any sort of palpability of like the fans making some sort of impact for the club? Because I think it's also that it's on us to be able to give them that energy in the stadium. And it was, like I said earlier, it was muted. It was not like it seemed nervous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, about the crowd, the question you asked me. It's like there's a huge difference from start to the end. It's like we'll always see ourselves like Vamos ATL at the start of the match. After the horn goes off, we start off, the crowd gets going, and using the New England game as an example, with Carlos Teal gifted a goal right away and it goes mute. It wasn't like that this match because the goal didn't come for after a while, but when it's a game where we give up the first goal, even after we don't score first, it goes mute. It's what you said. It's nervousness. There's it's mute. There's nothing. There's no sign of positivity from the crowd. Well, there's positivity because they keep waving the flags. I mean, it's the sports section, you see it the whole time. But there is a huge difference after that first goal scored by the away team, and it's mute. And I can see what you mean when they wear the 404 kit. And this match tonight, I heard that one too. I can see how that one goes too, because I feel like we play well in that kit. I'm not the person to say we have a kit curse. Like, people even say we don't wear the grit mint kit.
Yeah, the forest kit.
Yeah, the forest kit, whatever. We don't play well in that. I mean, it's true, but it's not a curse. So, to answer your question, the crowd was really, but until the last 90, it's a trend that we see almost every season, where we'll do something very amazing at the last second of the match. So.
And
it's a little bit of this too. Okay, so in the kind of like nervous energy, there is this aspect where the crowd. Okay, yes, we'll just continue to do our chants, but like after that Columbus goal, in some of the, especially in our first years, but I think it was it against Montreal? I forget like which team it was, but basically we got scored on, and there was this immediate like just getting behind the team and cheering them on again, like, okay, let's go again, it doesn't matter, like, yes, we got scored on, but there's belief, there's this like palpable
belief. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I feel like sorry to interrupt, it's like every time I go to a match, I like in 2019, it was 2019 was one, 2020, throughout the years I used to go to games more often, which I still do, but after we concede, I always feel like we always cheer like, yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like, I feel like we keep cheering after that goal, but like, I don't think we do that as much anymore. It's like we lose our belief, we lose our confidence a little bit. Like, I just used to hear that a lot more, but like when I went to the San Jose match and the Miami match, I did not hear cheering after when we conceded first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like gone. Like, we don't get those cheerings after we concede first anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it is that. It's like I think we've, with good reason, the supporters have felt maybe burned.
Yeah.
Maybe too often. And so, okay, it's there's a tangible consequence.
They're like, I've seen this movie before,
Exactly.
Like, oh, we're gonna get beat again, and then it's that negative narrative that really dictates the way they think about the rest of the game, unless something forces them to think otherwise. So, I mean, we just have to become a team that is more likely, like, if you're thinking, okay, we're probably going to win every game we play against, and then when we lose, that's the weird result. It's like, oh, that's strange. Okay. But most of the time we're going to win. So if it's in that kind of mentality, I feel like the fans are like, oh, they scored on us, big deal, let's keep going, because we still have a lot to say. We don't have that. That's just not the mentality that the team has and the crowd has, and it takes a while to build that up. We started kind of feeling that, like, when people started saying it's fun to watch Atlanta United again, when we're scoring like 4-5 and like a game, and it started to come back a little bit, but these last two games have really drawn it right back to the disillusionment, the apprehensiveness that haunted us for a while. So it's gonna take a lot of sample size for next season to undo that.
I think we could see a lot more of that next season. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. I think the first round, all we can do at this point is win the 5th spot. We got to win in Cincy, which will be tough. But I don't think we'll see like their starters because they already won the Supporters Shield. But I think at this point, all we can do is fight for 5th place. So we could see something in the playoffs, depending on who we play. I predict we're going to play Philly. We could see it against Philly. But for next season, I think we're going to start seeing that, 4-goal, 5-goal thing that you said. I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more next season because we'll have time to prepare for, like, Saba still. But, like, they're new. They just came this season. Yeah. We're not gonna see what we're going to see next season yet. We've seen hints, but we've not seen the entire, like, chemistry of the team yet.
Right.
It's still ongoing process.
Integrating them still.
We'll see a lot more next season. It's going to be a blast.
And it's that. I mean, it's, there's ebbs and flows of it too. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be an upward trajectory, but hopefully it is. But it is that. It's like, Saba and Silva are kind of hitting some of the roadblocks right now, because Wilfred Nancy is a good coach. He probably did his homework. And he was like, okay, well, also, how do I nullify, what's been really working for them. And yeah, I mean, they're a team that, yeah, they have enough defenders. They play with 5 at the back. It's almost like, yeah, the whole the way that we were playing essentially in 2018 on the way to the cup final and winning, is that they find a way to like stifle you, and especially on the wings with that, it's, I mean, Gressel, he's kind of like the ultimate wingback to a degree. Like, it is like he's a difficult one to play against, and yeah, he doesn't need pace to beat you. And yeah, I mean, I think it would have been really interesting, actually. I mean, obviously it wouldn't have happened, but because it's, Brooks Lennon is pretty much the replacement of that position, at least. But Gressel going against Brooks Lennon, that would have been a very tasty and interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, there's a lot of people that, yeah, right. Because there was, yeah, like everyone's always waxing poetic about Julian Gressel, as have I in this episode. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't see him putting those numbers though. Like Brooks Lennon, 4 goals, 10 assists. Yeah, like where's that from him this season?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, your 3 stars in this match.
3 stars. I got to go in a little in depth with this, but number 1, I got to go with Guzan, because at times he was clutch and he did very well to stop Cucho, who gave me heart attacks the entire 90 because he's an absolutely phenomenal player, and it's very hard to stop him. And he can even curl his crosses so well. He's like a dual threat to me. But back to my point, Guzan kept us in it, and eventually he had to give one up because our defense will always find ways to give up at least 1 goal. But I also know for a fact Guzan spooked the Columbus defense on that last play of the match, which also gave Miles his goal. So Miles was assisted by 3 people: 1, Almada; 2, Molino; and 3, Guzan.
Yeah.
So number 1 for me is Guzan.
Hold on. Yeah, let's stay on that though. Like Brad Guzan, because it is like he's this big goofy guy, and then he's coming in with his like big bowl of Fruity Loops kit, and it's like he's distracting in the box. Like, yeah, you're gonna keep an eye on him because like you don't want that embarrassment. You don't want the keeper to score on you. Like everyone's gonna be watching that over and over, and like bantering that club that allows a keeper to score on them. So yeah, no, that's a really good point. I mean, it's like
that would have been hilarious if Guzan scored. I've always I once saw this was the semifinals between Toronto and New York City in 2019. It was Sean Johnson who almost assisted somebody to equalize the match. That's the closest I've seen the goalkeeper doing something at the last moment of the match. But it would have been absolutely hilarious seeing Guzan score at the death. Like, imagine seeing that. Imagine just like think about it. Like, think about if that actually happened. Like, that would have been.
I think I saw in CCL, a Tigres goalie actually scored at the end of the game to win the game in CCL.
Oh, I think
a couple years ago or something like that. I think it was Tigres. I'm not sure, but
I think I've even seen some goalkeeper bicycle kicks too. I've just seen it. I don't know when it was. I don't care. I've just seen some bicycle. Back to my stars. Number 2, it had to be Lennon. He provided a lot, both attack-wise and especially defensively, from what we all saw mostly in the first half. I'm not sure of what to think about him shifting to the midfield because I haven't seen anything too promising yet, but I'm sure it's something to look for in the playoffs and maybe even next season, but I really do trust him, so we'll see where that goes with him, Lennon. But number 2.
So staying on that as well, you bring us some really good points. So you're saying him staying in the midfield a little bit more, like
him cutting in from his wing.
Yeah, when he shifts to the midfield, because he's like we saw him score against Miami. He's getting a lot more involved with like I saw him at moments in the match, like go to the midfield, like he's in the midfield.
Yeah.
He's
not
inverting
on
a
the
lot.
wing as much anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's inverting a lot. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah, and it's a thing that's becoming a little bit more in vogue. Obviously, Man City do a lot of that, and drink Arsenal as well, and so it is like that thing that is like he's got the ability, I think, because he's good on the ball to be able to do that, and I think Wiley was doing that too to a degree. Obviously, he wasn't like switching sides to the degree that Lennon was, but yeah, that first chance for us when Almada, slipped him through with that through ball, and yeah, he like skied it just over the corner of the goal, like that. Like that's that unpredictability that we brought the energy out the blocks then, but it's like that's one of those things. If you're relying on your fullback to make the runs and then score the goal, like that's asking a lot.
Yeah,
it's asking.
But I love it. I think this is a way to unbalance other teams' defenses because they don't expect it, and they don't expect Lennon bombing in all of a sudden when most of the game he's been just going down the flanks. It's just another arrow in the quiver to change it up when something's not working. You have more than one manner of attack, which I think is super important for us because we need multiple avenues to attack. We need to keep it going, keep it fresh, because like I said in one of the episodes, you never know where the knife is coming from. That's what kills teams. Everyone's kind of dangerous and everyone's kind of floating around. You don't know how to discipline your defense in a way that can account for all of that because it's so variable and it's so changing. It's so free flow. So like I really hope we see a lot more of that. And that's why I even started bandying about my question in the Discord like earlier this week about what if we got a DP like left fullback or something, like a Alphonso Davies, like who can just be all over the pitch.
Andrew Gutman was our Alphonso Davies.
He was, and I liked that a lot. Yeah,
at least,
liked what he did.
Yeah, at least in attack, because definitely, obviously not as good in defense. But I mean, Caleb Wiley, to a degree, can do some of that. Yeah. He's still developing. I don't know if he'll ever be Alphonso Davies, but
imagine a world-class player that just adds to the attack from the defense, and he has the ability to track back effortlessly to be on defense.
Well, at the end of his stint with Vancouver Whitecaps, before he made the move, Alphonso Davies was playing right winger. So I'm not sure we're ever going to see Caleb Wiley playing a right winger, but I mean, if he develops so immensely, maybe that's the case. But non sequitur, I guess. But it is as well, the wings with Sean Da Silva and Saba, I noticed like what they were trying to change up as well was they were switching wings, but I think that's what it is. It's like you see Saba on the left and it's just not as effective as him on the right. And Sean Da Silva, when he's on the right, it's like, because he was playing the total football with Brooks Lennon. Essentially, when he went up, Silva would stay back. So it was something like their I guess partnership, if you will, or their awareness, at least, where they need to be to fill the space. Like that was good, but in terms of anything of note that they did, like that's the problem. Like Silva, okay, he put like one ball in from the left with his left foot that almost was a chance, but
yeah, I mean, part of it is also just, like I said, unbalancing the defense, because the defense, you're trying to lose your man, right? Like, it's like, Shonde's all of a sudden drifting all the way over there. I have to readjust now, or assign him to someone else or something. So that can confuse teams sometimes, and I think that's really, for me, like that is probably the most value you can get out of doing that. I'm not expecting them to just all of a sudden, like you're saying, be like a left foot and right foot expert and can score from both, and that's not a problem whatsoever. But it's like that distraction, that like confusion is so important to unbalance a team when you're just having such a hard time breaking them down.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, in that way, it might have been effective. I guess it's still, there wasn't really much service for Yakumakis or each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, Columbus just were able to adjust. They were able to handle it all. I mean, their defense was very good. I was impressed.
Mm-hmm. Gavin, third star.
Third star. It was Miles. Last, most definitely not least, Miles. He was a hero tonight, and he even did very well defensively, along with Lennon. And if it wasn't for them two, tonight would have not been tonight. I really don't want Miles to go, but I think it's pretty clear he's leaving after the season, in my opinion. And even Doug Robertson said so as well. But tonight we saw magic from him and from some players. And I get we're outplayed, but this is still a huge result against a very good Columbus side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those, like, okay, yes, we absolutely need to make the Benz a fortress. We skirted to get this result, but yeah, like, because our away form is just, it's, dire. So, like, yes, we've gotten a few more results on the road lately, but if we're talking about in the playoffs against, very difficult teams, we have to play lights out at home.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly the case tonight. And hopefully these are just the learning lessons that we can, I guess, take in, internalize very quickly, and provide some quick change that happens in the playoffs.
This is ideal practice for the playoffs because these are all playoff teams, so there's that at least.
Yeah, at the very least, exactly. Like, it's arguably, would it be worse? And I'll pose this question to you, Gavin. Would it be worse if we played like Inter Miami, CF Montreal, and beat those teams like we did with those big score lines as our last matches, giving us a little bit of that feeling earlier on in the season where it's like the fool's gold.
Yeah.
It's like, like, would that have been better? Or would, this actual, like, reality check a little bit, is that better?
Well, if we're talking about the fool's gold, I mean, that would be good momentum. Like, it would, like, good momentum to go into playoffs. But if we're talking reality, I think it's just a lot to, like, learn from. So you can learn a lot more going into the playoffs. I don't know who we play, but if we're not going to win at home in our series, I think it's like best of 3. Then if we're not going to win at home for game 2, if we win game 1 or lose it, we're not making it. But it's yeah. Oh, sorry, I lost my thoughts. I think we're better off on the reality check because it's just a lot to learn from. I feel like it'd be more heartbreaking to like not to live up to your expectation after like winning against Montreal or Miami at the end of the season, because like I've seen some MLB playoffs. I'm not a fan of the Rays, but I saw the Rays. They did really well like all season as an example, and they did absolutely terrible their last 2 games, and they lost to the Rangers. But see, that's why I think we're better off on a reality check, because I would not trust the momentum. I just think we should learn more going into the playoffs.
Michael, I pose the same question to you, man.
I think tactics-wise, like for the coach, I think it's better for the learning, because then he can figure out how playoff teams play and be able to adjust. And with that, however, I think it may be better for the players to just run up the tally on some teams, because then you don't have what people in the chat are calling a Yorgos Yakimakis slump going into the playoffs. That is concerning. If he's the type of player where he needs to continuously score in order to continuously score, that can be rough. He can then, we talk about in the past how Atlanta United had and still does to a degree very emotional and immature players where they crumble under pressure. They get negative in their head. They get inside their own head and they can't get out of it, and their play suffers from it. They can only play to like 75% of their potential, and it shows, and it stinks. And you see, you're like, you're a much better player than this, and you just can't get there because all you're thinking about is all the times you've made mistakes already. So, if we can get this team on like a good psychological plane going into the playoffs, I feel like for the players' perspective, that's helpful for them. Because I don't think they are going to think, oh, well, that team we just beat is trash and, the real teams are coming up. I don't think they're going to think like that per se. The coach, though, I think might, and I think it's better for the coach to have a better understanding and evaluation of a playoff level team. So it's like I don't know. I don't know which one is better, but I think depending on the lens through which you look through, if you're the coach or the player, I think that the answer might change.
Yeah, that's definitely fascinating because, I mean, either way, I think we'll find out, going into, at least FC Cincy, if we can pick up some sort of momentum. I think it is an upward trajectory in that sense. If from our last 3 matches, like we lose against Philly, we draw. If we can win against FC Cincy, well, it's going upward. We're trending upward. So hopefully that is the case. That might be kind of an answer to both a little bit. And that
would be nice to beat the best team in the league and going into the playoffs. Like that would be great.
That would be the confidence and tactics. Yeah.
I think it would, although I don't think FC Cincinnati would be like full. Like I don't think we'll see much of Lucho Acosta, or we could see Brendan Vasquez limited. I don't know if we'll see. We could see Alvaro Barreal. We could see some of the players, but either way, even if we're not facing a full 100% Cincinnati, I still think it's very hard to win in Cincinnati. Have they lost this season? Because
No.
I don't think they have. I feel like we have a good shot to beat them, to be that team, since they're not that they're full strength, since they're saving them for the playoffs. But it's still never easy. Plus, I don't know if we're gonna not be 100% either, because we have our playoff spot. We don't have much to fight for other than 5th place, because we had our chances. We didn't really do so well with that.
Yeah.
But question for you, AJ. I don't think this happened, but you were at the match. Was Yorgo called for a yellow? Or no?
He was not.
I don't think he did.
No, he was very close. He was very, very close. It was, he basically, I don't know if he talked himself out of it, but I mean, somehow. But that's the thing. I need to look up to see if it does carry over from the last match, but you hope to God that he doesn't get it on the last match and he has to miss a playoff game or something. I think it erases in the playoffs, but you never know about MLS rules. They keep changing them, so I have to relook that. But that would not be a great happenstance if that actually was the case. But you were saying something and it turned my wheels a little bit, but for the life of me I cannot remember now. So all good. I'm sure if it's important I'll say it and it'll come back. But final thoughts on this match, man.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. I think I remember when Tati Castellanos was with New York City. They were playing New England. He got a yellow when he was suspended for the Philly match. New York City still went on to win MLS Cup, but it would still suck to get suspended in the playoffs. So I hope that's not our case. I just hope he doesn't get a yellow at all at this point. At this point, I would just say try not to get a yellow, or else you're gonna have to miss the playoff match. Because it's either he's getting a yellow, missing a playoff match, or he's just not even gonna get a yellow anymore. Which I hope that's the case.
I think we saw him trying to be careful this game. I think he was trying to be careful.
Yeah,
I only saw one play.
Yeah.
I only saw one play where he it looked like he tried to. It was in the first half. I
know what you're talking about.
The corner flag. He was chasing this guy down near the corner flag on the other end. I think. I don't know how to describe it, but there was that one play. But after that, nothing else.
Yeah. That's what the thought was. So thinking that FC Cincy might not play their full strength 11. That's the thing. They have a bye week. What do they have to lose? They're gonna play their strongest because that's at this point. I mean, they need the match fitness.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they might be taken off, maybe mid second half, but I think we're seeing a very strong FC Cincy.
I think they're going to try and get the job done in the first half. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really saying they're not going to be 100% like with fitness. They're obviously going to be fit because we have a bye too. We don't play until the 21st. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like they're not going to like go as desperate as they have been all season because no one can get hurt. Because Talos Magno got hurt in the last match last season, and our last match we didn't make the playoffs, but he got hurt for New York City. That's an example of what I'm saying. Like, what if they play Lucho or Brandon Vasquez and one of them gets hurt? Oh crap, we can't play him for the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking about like fitness because obviously they'll be fit. We just we'll see like more of limited. More limited time if we're to see Lucho Costa feature.
Yeah, I think you guys are saying the same thing roughly.
Yeah, and I feel you. I get what you're saying. It's like there's sometimes less of that. Like you see that probably in some other sports, but I feel like there's less of that sometimes because it's a rhythm thing. It's a and yes, they can just go less hard, but it is like. That's also how you injure yourself sometimes. Like that's there's some real perils with that, and so it's like like asking your players to go at a less percentage also doesn't bode well in terms of kind of like the muscle memory a little bit in that sense too. So it's a tough decision for them. Honestly, who fucking cares for them? So at this point, it's like that's their problem. That's a first world problem. Great. You guys can deal with that. But for us, we have so much more to worry about, and that's the crux of it. But Gavin, thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
We will speak to you soon.
Appreciate you guys.
Indeed, man. Have a good rest of your night.
Yep. Take care.
You guys too. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Adios.
Okay. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that, Gavin. But anyway. All right. So let's see the chat. I'll get my costume, quote unquote, ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got in the chat. A bunch of questions now. Okay, cool. Thank you. Keep it going, guys. Sniper 19, welcome. He says Atlanta United. Please, Gavin, do not do that. It is very loud. Sniper 19 says Atlanta United must capitalize on this season with Almada most likely going in either the winter or summer window. He is on plenty of teams' radar. Not sure if we sign a similar talent after him. Yeah. That's I think the point about keeping him through all of the season too was that we were gonna go full send and try and do some damage in the postseason with him before he would leave. Elliot says kinda wish Guzan scored the winner. That would have been nice. Sniper also says nothing better than Allison winning the Liverpool game and clinching the top 4 spot in the Prem. Connor Watson says Angball. Inverted fullbacks. Yopro also says Guzan could have scored the winner, but he didn't. If it was a reaction or letting Miles have his fun, Sniper also says possible topic of discussion. Miles Robinson's contract set to expire. Do we pay him low-level DP money and buy him down in order to get the guaranteed extension to avoid the free? I don't. For me, Miles Robinson is not worth a DP contract, I think. If it's like a significant one, which I think he... This year's been funky with him. Like, I don't think he's been as good. Like, the years past, I feel like this guy is a stalwart. Obvious this guy's a DP level player. I think it's dipped a little this year. maybe is like, coming back from injury. So
yeah, I think that's the main crux of it as well. He's coming back from injury, so yeah, there is a little bit of a period in which you're getting back to your old self. It's also, I mean, the people around him, like they're not exactly helping him either. Like that's the thing. It's like, yes, Abram is definitely a lot better, but yeah, Caleb Wiley's still learning his craft. Although he's doing really well defensively. Brooks Lennon still getting better defensively, but yeah, I think it's like he's having to be relied on to do a lot, like basically be the safety valve, basically be the person that puts out a lot of fires. Tough.
Yeah.
Like that's the, I think, difficulty there. But yeah, I mean, the whole DP thing, if there's an expansion of that, I mean, okay, I could see, yeah, okay, maybe if, we can spend some more money. If he wants to stay in MLS, then yeah. But will he want to?
This has got to be his last opportunity to get out to go to Europe if he's going to go there, I think.
Exactly. I mean, he's like, what, 26?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is his chance. Like, if I were him, I would.
Yeah.
So.
Alex Wimberg says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Alex?" Sniper says, "I think the wins right out of League Cup was a confidence boost, and these tough matches help forge a team to know they still have more work to do. Hopefully gets them on track for the playoffs." That's a very optimistic way of looking at it, and I hope that is indeed what happens. Alex says, "GG is so frustrating because his finishing is never in question for me, but he plays like a target man, putting his back to the defender instead of taking time to find good passes. He just draws the foul." I mean, he is a target striker for sure. His hold-up play is usually pretty good, but man, he's been being just like handled by a lot of defenders these last couple games. He's been falling so much because of it. So that, I agree that it is frustrating in that regard to see him just kind of fall after he like barely gets a pass off that might get somewhere, might progress it. They really mark him tough, so it is frustrating, yeah. And I would bring his finishing into question after this game, because what the F?
Yeah, but I think you can allow, like he was on a torrid form, and it's also, I mean, yes, it is. If you look at the totality of it too, though, it's like, man, like you have so many players that are vying for this almost similar amount of goals to win Golden Boot. It just shows you how good of a season Joseph Martinez had too.
Oh yeah.
Like that 2-season run was ridiculous. And it's just like, how in the hell does anybody, like as a striker, replicate that? Because Carlos Vela, he did that as kind of more of a forward, a wide forward,
right?
Which you're going to see the ball a little bit more. And it was more in the sense of like his cut in from the right, just that unstoppable, like curling shot. But for Jose Martinez, it was with everything. Yeah. Left foot, right foot, header, like penalties. It's just like,
he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's like Yorgos Yakimaki's like, yes, very, very good player. He's still like half the goals. Like that's insane. But that's the thing. It's like Yorgos Yakimaki's probably has a little bit more in his locker than Jose Martinez like had. He's just not maybe as clinical.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just wild.
Yeah.
Just like that's how well Jose Martinez produced in those crazy seasons.
Sniper 1919 says, "I would love a win at Cincy for a birthday present. Look forward to the match on the 21st." Connor Watson says AJ loves Angball as an Arsenal fan, and I'm a Spurs fan, by the way.
Yeah, about that. I mean, yeah, this isn't an Arsenal podcast nor a Spurs podcast, so I won't go too hard into it. But yeah, no, yeah, Ainge Ball is definitely, he's got them playing a lot better. That's for sure. Is it sustainable? I don't know. We'll see. But
all right,
they look like a club that's yeah. It's that whole, like, we have our Spurs back. Just like we've been saying, we have our Atlanta United back. And that can be very fleeting, though, sometimes. So, we'll see how long it lasts.
Sniper says, fair to say with Miles, if a team wanted him, they would have gotten after him with a pre-contract agreement. So maybe not as hot of a market for him outside of MLS. Yeah, possible. I'd be surprised. I always thought that he'd be perfect for like Bundesliga or something, but yeah, who knows? Elliot says, big game tomorrow, Arsenal playing Man City. That's true. Alex says, GG, get him on some header drills. that man just needs to get his confidence going again. Sniper also says, we'll be at the game at Cincy too. Start the playoffs with a huge boost and maybe a bit of swagger. Just have to get past the Atlanta kryptonite Lucho Acosta. That's true. He has had our number for a while, despite what kit he wears, whether it be at DC or in Cincinnati. So,
I mean, to be fair, he's had a lot of clubs' numbers, especially this season. So,
yeah.
You know, it's not exclusive to us.
I mean, Mr. MVP this year, most likely. So,
yeah.
All right, well, that is it for the comments. If you guys have any more, get them in, because we're going to be moving to the next part of the show, which is the wheel. And I think like AJ has something he wanted to
do. Yeah. So, all right, this is the costume. It's my my Janis Joplin look, and yeah, we'll just rock with this for the rest of the stream. So, yeah, you know, it's a good look, right?
It's a look.
It's a look.
It's a look. It is a look.
This is in my this is in my my artsy, my artsy phase.
Yeah, I mean, like, as long as you're confident about it, it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. That's what I'd say. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so here we have the wheel. It's Mike and AJ again tonight. Let's see who it lands on. This is like, what, 5 times in a row for AJ if it says? It's Mike this time. You're lucky. You're lucky.
Finally broke the streak.
You're lucky. Yeah.
I mean, I still owe everybody a skills thing, but yeah, we weren't able to do that yet.
Yeah, we will get that to you. They will come.
Yes.
And now we have the wheel of forfeit, which, like we have of last week, we still have the Patreon specific voted on wheel slice, which is yelling "I love Breck Shea" in a public place. So let's see if that's something I will have to contend with going forward. And it is listening to a song you don't like. So I'm going to have to record myself listening to a song I don't like, and I'll make it interesting and funny in some way.
Have you done this before?
No.
No, right? Yeah, it was only me.
Nowhere to begin. Yeah, because like AJ had Nickelback. So.
Okay, well, let's jog some wheels real quick. What are the first things that conjure up?
What do I not? I could probably find some stuff that I won't like. There's that one group. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find this. Like,
the fact that you have to search it.
There's like it's like a girl and a guy. I think they're like brother and sister or something like that, and they look like really Nordic, but they have like a strange name to their group or whatever, and they're fairly popular. Like Gat, like 88 Gats or something like something like that. But like that music is a little crazy, so I feel like that might be something I could listen to and be like, what the fuck am I listening to? But it's not exactly that. It's something else. I forget. Maybe someone in the chat knows.
Yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge of music. I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
Well,
So,
maybe it's because you're old and you're out of touch. Who knows?
that could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll find whatever this is.
What era are you talking about?
Oh, this is modern. This is very modern.
Modern.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Brother and a sister? Is it just a duo or is it a band?
I think it's a band, but I know that they're like prominent in like I've seen some of their like one or two of their music videos.
Oh, you're talking about Billie Eilish.
No. We're not talking about Billie Eilish. No.
I mean, that's brother sister. They're a
True,
little bit north.
but it's not. That's not who I'm talking about.
Okay. 88 gets?
It's like something. It's not American. I'll tell you that much. It's like some weird Eastern European thing. I think.
I mean, how do you come across it then? I mean,
it's actually very popular. I don't know why, but I know it's popular, and young people apparently really like it. So.
How does it go?
I have no freaking idea. Like it's like I'm telling you, it's weird music. That's why I literally can't. I just literally can't. So when I show you it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But like that would be like grating for me to hear. So that's the only thing I could like think of.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out then. But either way, yep. This is the forfeit tonight. I feel like maybe this, it's okay. It maybe wasn't enough, but we'll try to make
he'll do more next time.
Yeah, we'll try to make up for it with the skills thing. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see some epic skills from AJ.
No, it won't be epic skills, but it will be yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, we'll do something fun for Halloween too. So we'll probably dress up for something like that too. So keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, and if you, that's the thing. Okay, if you guys look at our catalog of videos, I dressed up as Prince one time for the fan camps. So, and that wasn't for Halloween nor a Wheel of Forfeit. So, I feel like the trade-off is this and that. So, yeah, that made up for this posthumously. Anyway, okay, well, I think that's probably pretty much the end of the episode, except for what we are saying in the chat. So,
I am like hung up on this right now. Finding out what the heck this group is, but whatever, I'm not gonna be able to find it. All right, let me check the chat. The Osmonds, I don't know who that is. I don't think that's who I'm talking about because I'm like telling you they have a weird name.
Yeah, talk about grandpas. I mean, those are.
Hey, I mean, we're not gonna out Elliot Beaven for how old he is. We don't know. Who knows? Not gonna judge him at all. Because every episodes now, it seems like we go into Grandpa Corner. So, Fernandino says...
I think we're being too judgmental about ourselves.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I guarantee you, like, the Zoomers in the chat are just like, what the are they talking about? Anyway, but Fernandino says, Atlanta gets to host an MLS playoff game. Is looking like it would be away in Columbus, then in Atlanta, depending on the series. It could be a third game in Columbus. 100 Gex. That's it. John Pittman. That's the band I was talking about. 100 Gex. I was like, you're 88 Gak or something. I'm like, at least I knew there was a number in there somewhere.
There's an 88 Rising.
No, this is 100 Gex. Just it's weird music, but hey, is what it is. Okay. Thanks, John Pittman. You scratched that itch on my brain that was going to drive me absolutely insane. So yeah, that's maybe what I'll do. We'll see. And then you will all get to experience, well, because like you'll probably Google it and see what the heck I'm experiencing, because I'm not going to play it very long on stream because obviously copyright issues. But yeah, it's you'll all see it and be like, wow, okay, this is a thing that exists. So. All right, well, that about does it for us. It's 12:35 in the AM, so we're going to let everyone go to sleep and have a good rest of your night, if it will be much longer.
Right. I mean, I guess if anybody's on Central Time or Pacific Time, they're still in yesterday. But yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around. And yeah, much love to all of you guys. Definitely sign up for the Patreon if you haven't. And remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We love you. I've been AJ. That's Michael. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good rest of your night.
See everybody.